Hello and welcome to episode 159 of Glitch Report. My name is GnittWitt. Thank you so much for stopping by, saying hi, kicking it with me today on the stream of dreams, the show of shows, and everything in between. You can find everything that I do over at my Linktree. That is linktree.com/GnittWitt. That'll take you to the YouTube channel, the Twitch, the Threads, Blue Sky, all of that good stuff, Instagram, all that good stuff in one convenient location. Thank you so much for being here today. We are almost an hour and a half late starting the show, but I am happy to be here and I'm excited to be here. This is going to be, I don't want to hype it up too much, but I think this is going to be a fun show. We have a lot of news to talk about. I don't know what the hell happened where well, the biggest news is Microsoft is up to their old tricks again, and we'll cover that in just a moment. But gosh, I was not expecting to come here and talk about a new Silent Hill movie, but that is coming up, and we'll talk about that as well. Disco Elysium, Call of Duty, a lot of Xbox news, a lot of news, man. It's just happening. Plus, we're gonna do a review roundup for Hades 2 and for Baby Steps. So this is gonna be a great podcast. I think this is gonna be a great show. Thank you for joining me today. But I want to cover something that happened last week. So I made two videos about the video game Skate, the free-to-play early access live service extravaganza known as Skate. I made those videos over the last couple of weeks or so. And in doing so, especially on TikTok, I managed to, kick the proverbial hornet's nest to some extent, because the first video, titled "The New Skate Game is Boring," received a variety of passionate comments from people in regards to what I had to say. And what I have to say is I think that game is very lifeless. I think that game is bland. I don't think it's in a good enough state for public early access release and consumption. And at the end of the day, it feels like people are celebrating that. And this isn't really a criticism of the game itself, but it feels like people are celebrating the game because it's the only Skate game they have. It's almost like a double-edged sort of nostalgia of man, they haven't made a new Skate game in a while, and I would love for them to make one. And they make one, and it's maybe not what it should be, but there's the potential. It could get better over time. And I'm just here saying, I've been playing that game since November of last year, and it has not improved in a significant way. And in fact, it feels like they have just doubled, tripled, quadrupled down on the soulless live service experience that is Skate. So I made that video, and that video came out on the 29th. So that video came out on, August of the 29th, because the game was coming out, I think, a couple of weeks later. So I think that's when that video came out, right? That sounds about right. Anyway, the first video came out, and I just talking about how the challenges are pretty tedious and boring and not very inspired. There's a corporate stink to everything. The world is lifeless. It's just flat. And I get that skateboarding should be flat because you're skateboarding, and there should be hills and bumps and stuff. Anyways, the point is, people seem to respond negatively to what I had to say. With comments such as, soulless, huh? Sounds like 90% of all games released today. Another person saying, this game is fine, quit crying, which I don't think this person who commented has ever understood what crying actually is or what crying means. Someone says, bro, this game is a lot of fun. I don't have to pull up my PS3 to play Skate. Plus, it's also free. I see it as a W. Another person saying, grown man complaining about a free game in early access. And I just don't think people obviously trolls and stuff like that. And I get that, but I would just like to remind people that, criticism of video games applies to games that are in early access and games that are free to play. I'm not just here to discuss $90 full released video games, right? If a game in early access is bad and they're charging money for it, let's talk about it. If a game is great in early access, let's talk about it. If there's a good free to play game, if there's a bad free to play game, I think everything is open. I think it's just how you approach the argument and if it's in good faith and stuff like that. Obviously, from even the small smattering of comments that were left on that first TikTok video, The new Skate game is pretty bad. It was a lot of trolls, a lot of people arguing in bad faith. But the problem with that video was people were talking about it, talking about my opinion, having not been able to play the game because the game had not released for public consumption yet. Right? So it was a lot of people disagreeing with me about a game that they may not have played yet because I've been playing it in, as part of a closed, tester build for a while since November, and people had not been able to actually play the game itself yet. So I figured, making that video, that, hey, maybe people are going to change their opinion and they're going to think that I am correct, or that they're going to form their own opinion or whatever. I also thought that maybe when the game came out in early access for the public to play, that they would make significant changes to the game to make significant improvements, because I would love to be wrong. Like, I understand that there may be a perspective of like me being a troll or a hater or whatever, but like, why, like, if I want Skate to be good, why wouldn't I also want to be wrong about the game, 6 weeks from now, 6 months from now, 6 years from now, whatever time they need to take in order to get this game good, right? But again, the video perspective I had was like, I've played it, and I don't think it's very good. Which then leads me to a new video that I posted about a week ago called The Harsh Truth About the New Skate Game, in which it is effectively me kind of saying I told you so, right? Like, I said this game wasn't going to be good. I don't think it's very good. People have now had a chance to play it. And again, lo and behold, a variety of people with, negative things to say about the video, saying that I'm wrong. This person says, tell me you never played a skate game. Tell me you never played the skate games without telling me. To which I just say, like, how twisted must your logic be to just assume that someone isn't coming from some sense of experience talking about this? Like, and also, if I had never played a skate game before, I would probably be ill-equipped to talk about what a disappointment Skate is, right? Like, I'm not here to say that you need to spend 100 hours, 200 hours, whatever with the game to talk about it. But if it's a game in a long-running franchise, you might want to have some sort of context for where it came from. And where Skate came from to where it is now is genuinely a disappointment. And again, bad faith arguments, trolls, I totally get it. Which leads me to a very exciting moment that I experienced last week, in which, for the first time ever, someone made a angry video response to a video that I made. So the video that's titled The Harsh Truth About the New Skate Game received a video response from somebody on TikTok. Now, I have not seen this video personally. I have not watched it. I've seen about 3 seconds of this video, maybe 4 seconds. I, honest to God, have not watched this video. I have had friends and family watch this video of this person reacting to what I had to say. And my understanding is that I'm getting choked up just thinking about it because I'm so excited. I'm not trying to bully this person. I'm not trying to troll this person. I am not trying to belittle this person in any way, shape, or form. But I'm very excited about the idea of someone making a video reacting to mine. Like, truly, I have made it to some degree when someone is so passionate about what I had to say on the internet that they have to get on the mic and tell it like it is, right? What more could you, what more could you possibly ask for? So what I would like to do for you right now, before we get to news and the game, review roundups and all that stuff, is what I would like to do right now is I would like to actually show you my video saying I told you so about the Skate early access release that went public. I'd like to show you that video in its entirety. If you are a podcast audio listener, you're going to be able to hear the audio, so it's totally fine. But what I would first like to show you is me basically saying I told you so in regards to Skate and the release of it. And then after that, we will show the reaction video that I have received And I have the audio, I have the video here. So if you're a podcast listener, you're going to hear me talk, but I'm not going to say anything, but you're going to hear the video. Let's go ahead and let's roll. You got a clip? Let's roll the clip. So I hate to say I told you so, but the public release of the Skate Early Access is out now, and the game that I said wasn't very good, turns out is not very good. And I got some grief in the comment section about my first video about this, and I want to address that here. First of all, there's nothing wrong with you liking a bad video game. We all have our guilty pleasures. But I refuse to give early access games the benefit of the doubt these days, considering how many of them drop off the map entirely after a failed initial launch. And to be honest, I am not here to be a member of the skate community that makes the game better over time. I am here to play a video game, and if it is good, I will keep playing it, and if it's not, I'm gonna drop it. But as of right now, the skate game is kind of buggy and is an incredibly soulless experience. If that sounds like something you want to play, more power to you. I'm curious to see if EA is going to actually improve this game or abandon it like other live service titles they've had. But as of right now, I don't think the current version of Skate is worth my time or yours. Some people might see a light at the end of the tunnel for Skate, but I think right now we should just pretend that this game never existed. Okay, so that is the video. That is the video that someone reacted to. I'm going to switch over to me for just a moment so I can get out of this screen. That's the video. That was me basically saying, hey, I said this game wasn't going to be very good based on my time playing it. Turns out it's not. One of the things I just want to clarify is, for audio listeners, in the video, I do reference two things I want to clear up. One of those things is that the current user reviews for Skate on Steam are currently mixed, with about 60% of user reviews being positive. It's currently mixed. Okay, so some people like it, some people don't, and the only user data I really have to go off of is the Skate Steam page, which shows 21,267 user reviews, currently mixed. The other thing I wanted to reference was the other live service games that EA has abandoned. In that video, there's a photo that I flash of Anthem, which was supposed to be EA's Destiny-like Division 2, sort of live service game. That game flopped and they abandoned it. And it's only now that they're shutting off the servers after a long time of that game basically being stagnant and not receiving a lot of updates and content and stuff like that. That's what I meant when I said, if this game does flop out of early access, does this lead to a scenario where they eventually abandon the game despite how many people are playing it? I honestly don't know. But what I do know is that I have a friend of mine. Pause this video here. I'm just pulling up the video here. So I found a gentleman online, and I'm not trying to make fun of this guy. Again, there's no bullying here. A TikTok user by the name Battlefield Bartender, who refers to themselves as a gamer and an online rat and is Australian. This person made a reaction video to that video that you just heard or watched. And again, I have not seen it, but I'm very excited to hear what they have to say. I'm going to switch over now. Again, you're going to hear their audio or the whole video, whatever you got. And I got another clip, and let's roll it, and we'll react to them reacting to me. Hold on. Oh, gotta unmute that. All right. So I hate to say I told you so. Hold on. Also, really quick, for those that have never seen a TikTok video before, for the old people who listen to this podcast, they basically did something called a stitch, and a stitch is release of the Skate. Whoops. A stitch is where they take a first couple of seconds of my video and then they talk for the rest of it. So my video was about a minute long. This person, Battlefield Bartender, has made a 4-minute long video talking about what I had to say, and I have the clip. Let's go ahead and roll. The first couple seconds you're going to hear is me, and then he's going to get in. And what we're going to do is we're going to basically react to what he has to say, some counterpoints, stuff like that. But like I said, I'm not here to bully, not here to belittle the man or anything like that. I want to react right here, right now, live on this podcast. We're here on the Glitch Report to react, because every reaction has a reaction. Let's roll the clip. So I hate to say I told you so, but the public release of the Skate Early Access is out now, and the game that I said wasn't very good, turns out is not very good.
Yeah, I gotta say, this take is just awful for so many reasons. Mind you, I've actually have been having fun with the Skate Early Access, and it just reminds me of playing Skate 3 back in the day. And I think if you're gonna try and make critique on what is essentially a reboot of an old franchise, you're gonna have to play the older games to get some context as to what the games are about and how they're usually played.
Again, just gonna stop right there and say, again, this argument that like people assume that like, you know, someone critiquing a game that's part of a long-running franchise has never played it before is just, it's just asinine. It's just such a lazy take to have. Like, I can pull up the achievements that I got playing Skate 3 on the Xbox cloud streaming service, whatever they call it. I can show you the trophies that I got playing Skate 3 on the PlayStation 3 back in the day. I have played the games. Like, it's such a logical fallacy, but it's such an easy one to make, to just assume and immediately downplay someone's criticism of the game because they have not actually played it, or they are assuming that they haven't actually played it. So first thing out of the gate is, you know, I don't have a lot of high hopes for this argument from our friend Battlefield Bartender here, because they immediately just assume that I have not played the game. But you know what? Maybe he's going to turn it around. It's just going to be logic after logic after logic. He's going to boom. He's going to destroy me with facts. Let's continue on.
Since the franchise's inception, Skate has always been like, you know, a chill session of skating around with your friends. There's no story mode, it's completely free form, and you can just putz around. It's not like the arcadey crap we had from the Tony Hawk Pro Skater games way back in the day.
Okay, two things. Hold on. There is something resembling a story mode in Skate. Specifically, we look at a game like Skate 2, in which you are disassembling the authority members that are running the city. You know, you get a security guard like Big Black, R.I.P. Big Black. You get Big Black as your security guard. You start to remove some of the like no skating obstructions in and around the city. You're clipping, you know, the bars that they put around railings so you can't skate them and stuff like that. I am not going to tell you that it is some Death Stranding level of storytelling. It's not Macbeth or anything like that, but there is something resembling a story, especially in a game like Skate 2. And in case of Skate 3, you are building up a skate team. You're getting other crew members and stuff like that. Again, not Shakespearean or anything way, shape, or form, but like to completely deny any sense of story in the skate games is a little crazy to me. Are there more elements of story in stuff like the Tony Hawk games? Sure. Like you think about Tony Hawk's Underground and stuff like that. Thug 2 especially. But arcadey games can have story and non-arcadey games can have story. And I'm so far not in love with this argument.
And if that's not your vibe, that's totally fine. But don't shit all over it thinking that it's just going to be a bad game, especially when you're trying to get statistics off of just Steam alone. Because you have to remember, there are also a myriad of people playing the game on PlayStation, Xbox, and the EA Origin app.
Okay, hold on, real quick. We don't have that data. If I had that data, I would refer to it. I could pull numbers out of my butt all day long, but it's not going to help with my argument in one way, shape, or form. I recognize that people are playing it on other platforms. I myself am playing it on the EA Origin, whatever it's called, app. But the only data we have to go off of, because of how secretive the game industry is the Skate numbers on Steam. If I had other numbers, I would refer to those other numbers, but we don't. So those are the ones I work with what I got. And between the data that I have for Skate and this video, I am not working with a lot.
So pulling up numbers from one source isn't going to do you much good if you want to try and spit out facts, especially when they come from the Steam store page, which, as history has taught us, usually comes out very misconstrued. I mean, people review bomb games on end on Steam. It's no secret. Hell,
Okay. So two things. One, Steam is not the only place where review bombs occur. Also, in the case of Steam and Skate, this is not a review bomb scenario. A mixed reception to a game is not a review bomb. In fact, Steam now does a very good job of tracking when a game gets abnormally large negative reviews over a short period of time in response to something a company did or said or whatever. This is not review bombing. Just saying.
Divers 2, I remember, got review bombed to the absolute fucking abyss after Sony decided to region lock the game entirely. That doesn't make it a bad game by no means at all. And if you are one of the mindless masses that actually believe in those games, news, journo organizations like IGN and GameSpot that tell you how to think, you must be new here.
Wait a minute, hold on. I don't know if I've ever come across, I don't think I've ever come across a games journalism page, whether that be, first of all, shout out to Video Games Chronicles. They do very good work. IGN as well does some decent work, but I don't know if there's ever been a point in which you can't, like, I've been doing this podcast for a while and I've been reporting the news, sharing the news, and yeah, I have my biases and I'm pulling from people who have their biases. It turns out everybody has biases, but I've always tried to come away from it being like, I don't know, play the game for yourself, and if I'm wrong, cool, and if I'm right, awesome. But in the case of the Helldivers thing, like, no one reviewing Helldivers was saying it was a bad game. I know that they were leaving. Okay, actually, I shouldn't say no one thought Helldivers 2 was a bad game. I'm just saying in the context of the review bombing that Helldivers received, it was about a reaction to something that Sony did, right? Whereas the negative opinion that I have about Skate is a reaction to the game itself, not something that EA did. It's not like EA said, oh, whatever. They didn't say anything. They just put out the game. So two things. One, not the Skate not being review bombed. And in the case of Helldivers 2's negative reception and review bombing, it was for very, very different reasons between the review bombs and how people actually felt about the game. Some people might not like Helldivers 2, in which case more power to you, but a lot of that isn't reflected in the review bombing that they saw.
Also, you're not really making your words solid when you're disabling duets and stitches on your video. It's a very quick way to invalidate your entire argument when you're literally limiting everyone else from making any kind of rebuttal against your point.
Okay, quick. I didn't know that well, maybe I did, but I forget. But doesn't matter. I'm here right now to showcase the entire thing. Like, if the argument is, oh, people can't stitch a duet, we're doing this right now, which I'm okay with. You could argue that it's a more controlled situation in my case, but I'm not here to debate. I'm not here to, I'm here to put out the opinion, and if you want to argue about it, that's fine. Maybe I will respond, maybe I won't. I seriously doubt I'm going to go through the effort of doing this every single time, especially when I'm going into this, again, blind. But okay, I can enable stitching and duets, and I have a feeling that all it's going to do is cause more bullshit to come my way in the form of nonsense, whether that be derogatory comments, whether that be trolling or whatever. Like, the amount of comments I get just about me being bald that have nothing to do with the actual argument that I presented make me think that it's not worth having stitching and duets. Maybe I'll enable it, maybe I won't, but that didn't stop you from reacting to my video anyway. So if people feel that passionate about it, they're probably going to figure out a way to do it anyways.
Choosing to die on a particular hill is one thing, but when you're seriously trying to shut down everyone else from making any kind of rebuttal, you're not making yourself look good here, mate. I mean, the only thing that can be said is you're a bitch. That's literally it. You're a bitch.
All right, hold on. It took us 2 minutes and 39 seconds to get to the name calling segment of this video. This man has completely lost the plot. He has completely thrown whatever argument he would have had under the bus, and we are just straight up in the name calling territory. Which is, you know, hey, listen, some people do not have much of a leg to stand on, even when they argue about the legs that other people have to stand on. But here we are in the name calling segment, really convincing me that what I have to say about Skate is wrong.
With that being said, I've only got 2 things left to say to you. First of all, grab a cup of concrete, drink.
Hold on, he's got 2 things left to say, and this video is 2 minutes and 44 minutes in. 2 minutes and 44 seconds into a 412 video. So he's not going to be wrapping it up anytime soon.
Drink it up and harden the fuck up. Second thing is,
he wants me to harden the fuck up. Why, to what end? Why would I harden up for any, this is not, I am not Charlie Kirk, bro. I'm not Ben Shapiro. I'm not this manosphere, bullshit. I'm not here to debate much of anyone. I just wanted to use this guy's content for my own content purposes. And if he feels so strongly about being used in the case of enabling stuff like stitches and duets, well, this is probably the best reaction he could have possibly got, because I'm going to go down this entire video for him. But to harden up, what am I hardening up for? Also, you can't even see me from the chest down, so you wouldn't know if I was hard anyways.
To come to your own conclusions. I mean, if this game is your entry point into Skate, then, you know, so be it. But
again, assuming that I've not played another Skate game, which even if I spent a large portion of the video 1 or video 2 talking about my time with Skate, I don't think it would convince anyone, so what's the point?
At the same time, it's always good to get some kind of context before you make any kind of critique, because if
what context? I've played the game. I played it. You just don't believe that I have, and you don't believe that I've played the other games. There's no context that I need to provide other than I've played it, and you don't believe me because you can't imagine the game not being good, or you can't imagine someone playing the same game as you and coming to the conclusion that they don't think it's very good. There's no other context that needs to be provided whatsoever.
If you're comparing it to numbers and comparing it to other games, then, you know, it's...
First of all, in the video that he is reacting to, I don't compare it to any game other than a live service game by EA that also that failed. That I never said it's like Anthem. I am just saying that I don't have a lot of trust in EA making a live service game because of how well Anthem turned out. And in the case of video 1, I just said that I don't necessarily need Skate to be like the Tony Hawk games. I just need Skate to do a better job of representing itself and the legacy that it has, which I don't think Skate, the current game, does very well.
Not really going to be worth it. I would say comparison is the lowest form of critique, but only when you're saying, you know, X game is not like Y game, therefore it is bad.
Which, for the record, I never said in the video that he's stitching, or this video he's referring to, I never said any of that.
Want to make concrete comparative critique, you need to say things like, you know, this game X does not meet the standards set by game Y, therefore...
Wait, didn't he just say not to compare, and now he's saying that the game set by, he could... I feel like he should be reacting to the other video that I made. I feel like this would all just get solved immediately if he just reacted to the other video that I made, but here we are, c'est la vie.
Or it is bad. But no, instead you look at the bloody Steam review numbers and just conclude that it is bad without actually giving it a red hot go, compared to most jaded cunts like myself who have already dropped in well.
Okay, I don't know if he's Australian. I don't know if he's allowed to say the C word or not. I'm certainly not allowed to say the C word, but I'm also not Australian. And I'm not British. Let's continue.
Well over 40 hours into this early access, and I gotta say, I'm having...
Okay, the time spent, hold on, the time spent argument is just so lazy. I can pull up the time I've spent playing this game. Will it matter to him or not? Probably not. But here I am now launching the Steam, sorry, not the Steam, the EA app thing. And I don't know if it's going to show it, but if it does, let's see it. Click on Skate. Time spent played 6 hours and 48 minutes. Now, for the record, I don't know if this is the time spent in the current version of Skate. I don't know if it also includes the Skate like early access beta thing. Like, I don't know if it has, like, I don't know if they removed that game. I don't know if that game still exists, if the Skate like beta thing. So I don't know. Like, I don't even know if it is the same time period or not. However, I can tell you, if we load this back up here, 6 hours and 48 minutes. It does not need to take you 40 hours to find out if this game is good or not. You genuinely do not need that much time. I also don't like the argument of time spent played. The more time you spend playing a game, the more valid your opinion is, because it just enters this like weird dick measuring contest where, oh, well, I've played it longer, so I have a better opinion about it than you. Like, we just have different opinions on the game, and no amount of time spent playing it is going to invalidate one or the other. If I had spent 30 minutes playing the game, I probably wouldn't be making the video. So again, everyone just assumes in bad faith. They don't assume positive intent. They just assume negativity when it comes to what people have to say when their opinion differs. Okay.
A lot of fun. For an early access game, this is actually 70% complete, considering that, you know, we're only missing one portion of a map.
Okay, hold on. This man is, I'm assuming that Battlefield Bartender is not developing the game. I don't know how he knows that the game is 70% complete. This feels like him again pulling, sorry, not him again, but in this context, he is pulling a number out of his butt by saying, oh yeah, the game is 70% complete, when I don't know if that game is 70% complete. I don't know, but he doesn't know, but he said it's 70% complete anyways, because his argument dissolved into vapor the minute I clicked this video.
Actually, the map's playable, but there's no, like, you know, challenges or objectives to meet. But apart from that, the game's solid. So I don't know. You might want to check yourself there, mate.
Okay, I'm going to close this window now. I have checked myself. And what I can say is, Battlefield Bartender made a cute little video about me. It's very funny. Like, I like, again, like, I'm not here to bully the man. I'm not here to pick on him. I will pick at the argument. But again, I'm just getting a fussy Australian man, who's got his feelings hurt over me not liking a skate game. So listen, we're gonna take a break. I'll go check myself, and when we come back, we got some reviews to round up. Stick around, we'll be right back. Welcome back to the podcast. I'm gonna need to figure out how to make that its own separate video. Maybe I can post that, and I'll turn on stitches, and I'll turn on duets, and I'll be like, oh, the Australians are coming, the Australians are coming. But yeah, that I mean, like, listen, again, I think obviously that video could have gotten a lot nastier. I'm not saying he is capable of doing that, but I'm saying anyone could have responded with a much nastier video than they did. But instead, what we have is just kind of a goofy, weird argument that doesn't really go anywhere from the start. But look, if Battlefield Bartender truly is a troll, he trolled me. He got me. He got my reaction. He got my energy and things like that. But if that is genuinely him trying to speak from the heart, woof. Let's talk about Hades 2. Hades 2 is out tomorrow, and Hades 2 is one of my most anticipated games for this year. I absolutely loved Hades 1, made by Supergiant. That came out, I believe, in 2020. And Hades 1 is a phenomenal game. If you have a PlayStation 5 and Xbox, like, you should play Hades. A beautiful story. It's a beautiful story told exquisitely well, which I feel like doesn't always happen in the world of gaming. Like, you might get a story that's told well because of the interactivity nature of games and things like that, or you might get a really good plot that maybe is hamstrung by some gameplay, but the gameplay and the story in Hades really go hand to hand in a truly phenomenal way. So I am very excited for Hades 2 to exit early access. Speaking of early access, I'm excited for Hades 2 to exit early access. And what we have here is a pretty solid breakdown of some reviews here. Pull this up here. It says, what do we got here? Hey, IGN. Let's kick things off with IGN giving Hades 2 a 10 out of 10, saying Hades 2's art is breathtaking, its characters are captivating, the combat is fast, fun, endlessly varied, and tactical, and the music is spectacular. PC Gamer 88 out of 100, saying, despite some stumbles in its opening hours, Hades 2 blooms with flexible combat and unforgettable characters. Games Radar Plus giving it a 4.5 out of 5, saying, there's a huge degree of skill expression even amid the most chaotic encounters. Overall, I feel like these are pretty positive reviews. Do I have anything else to kind of refer to here? Rock Paper Shotgun, who don't believe in review scores, said, a fun-loving follow-up shakes the underworld without fouling the Hades formula. GameSpot 9 out of 10 says, Hades 2 is an ambitious expansion of all the ideas that came before it, balancing them beautifully to create one of the best roguelites on the market, even in its incomplete status. Now, that is a review, in its incomplete state, that is a review that they wrote June 18th of 2024. The full version of the game out now. Eurogamer with a review from May 6th of 2024 saying, Supergiant's first ever sequel may feel very comfortable and familiar, but Hades' best weapon remains the power of surprise. So just double check the reviews that you are looking at and stuff like that. Some of them may be old early reviews, some may not be, but let's go ahead and just confirm right now. 44 critic reviews for Hades 2 out now, with a top critic average of 93, with 97% of critics recommending the game. That is very good review scores for Hades 2, unless you don't trust them because the game journalism people tell you what to think and all that stuff. Baby Steps. Baby Steps is out, came out yesterday as of the time of this recording. Another game that I have been looking forward to. I played the demo of and I thought it was neat, but I have not spent any other time with Baby Steps as of late. Currently with a 75 top critic average, with 71% of critics recommending the game. Hades is that adult man in a onesie walking through a weird environment comedy adventure game. PC Gamer giving it an 85 out of 100, saying, a Sisyphean challenge after which you'll never take pressing W to walk for granted again. IGN 9 out of 10 saying, Baby Steps is an infuriating ordeal of intentionally awkward physics that's brutal, unbelievably stupid, and downright awesome. Games Radar Plus 3.5 out of 5 saying, it's impossible to hate a game that offers experiences like this. When I played the demo, I was able to get a handle of the controls relatively easily. It wasn't like too crazy, but I could definitely see some people finding it to be an infuriating, frustrating game. I could see people not liking the game because of the way it controls and plays and all that stuff. But I think the frustrating nature of the controls in Baby Steps are part of the appeal and charm for me. Though for folks that are looking for a goofy game in which you walk around as a man in a onesie, you might struggle with some of the controls, or it might take you longer to get up and running, so to speak, before you're truly having fun. Let's go to news. Let's take it to news. First news story, Microsoft is raising Xbox console prices in the US again, 5 months after its last price increase. A 2 terabyte Xbox Series X now costs more than a PS5 Pro in the United States. The company announced back in May that it was increasing the prices of its consoles globally including increasing the price of the Xbox Series X and S in the US by $100 and $80 respectively. Now it's announced that it's raising the prices even further, but only in the United States this time due to changes in the macroeconomic environment. Now, according to a newly updated support page, the price increase will take effect October 3rd. Here are the new price changes. The Xbox Series S in 512 gigabytes is going up from $380 to $400. The original launch price of that console was $300 US. So it went from $300 to $380 and is now up to $400. The Xbox Series S 1 terabyte originally launched at $350. Currently, it is $430 and it is going up to $450. The Xbox Series X digital, so that's a Series X no disk drive, launched at $450. It is now $550 and it is going up to $600. The Xbox Series X launched in the US at $500. That was an Xbox Series X with the disk drive and 1 terabyte of storage. It launched at $500. It is now $600 and it is going up to $650 US. And finally, the Xbox Series X 2 terabyte in Galaxy Black launched at $600. It is currently $729 and it is going up to $800 US. There are no words to describe how crazy this is. This is the first time I've ever seen consoles become significantly more expensive post-launch. If you were a customer that bought a Series X at launch, you have saved, quite literally hundreds of, over $100, right? Over $100. Once you factor in tax, like almost $200 in some cases. It's insane. It's insane. They're never going to put the genie back in the bottle. These game consoles prices are never going to come down. But it also makes me seriously wonder what the price of a Xbox Series X2 or a PlayStation 6, like what do those consoles end up costing when they come out? And honestly, when do they come out in a world where the current consoles have rapidly become more and more unaffordable? I'm not going to sit here and tell you that $500 US for an Xbox Series X at launch is an amazing deal. I'm not here to criticize any of that. But what I am saying is, if you couldn't afford it then, how the hell are you going to afford it now? And if you can't afford the current consoles, how the hell are you expected to afford the next generation of consoles whenever they come out? A pricing disaster across the board that seems incredibly baffling, especially from Xbox, considering that, like, I was thinking about this with Skate, right? I was thinking about this with Skate, and I'm gonna tie this to Skate. Just follow me here. Skate 3, the last Skate game to come out, came out on the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3. The PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation 5 do not have backwards compatibility for PlayStation 3 games. The only consoles that have Xbox 360 backwards compatibility are the Xbox One and the Xbox Series S and X. However, I think one of the reasons why people are so excited about Skate being available again is because very few people have access to the backwards compatibility version of Skate 3. I'm not saying that they are only going to play Skate 3 and that they won't accept another Skate game, but I don't imagine a lot of people have access, keyword being easy access to play Skate 3. Why? Because you have to have a Xbox 360 version of Skate to play it. And then you need to own an Xbox One, which nobody bought. Or you need to own an Xbox Series X or S that also nobody owns. So if you do have a Xbox One or a PlayStation 5 or a PS4 or a PC, you can play the current Skate game and not worry about it. But if you had, say, an Xbox Series S or X, and a digital copy of Skate, which is still being sold, by the way, you can still get Skate for about $20 on the digital storefront. you might not be so excited about a new skate game, considering a better skate game is easily available at your fingertips. But regardless of whether you're playing Skate or Skate 3 or not, whatever, the pricing on these Xbox consoles is absolutely crazy. And I don't know what else to say. Let's move on to some PlayStation news. If you are someone who is a big fan of Xbox achievements and PlayStation trophies, you might feel a strong sense of accomplishment and power and pride over your ability to get, say, all of the trophies in something like Ghost of Tsushima or, Horizon Zero Dawn or Spider-Man or whatever. If I'm being honest with you, when it comes to a lot of trophies and achievements, I'm there to do it if they're easy to do, but I do not tie a lot of personal achievement and accomplishments with getting all of the trophies in Ghost of Tsushima. It's fun to do, but I'm not sitting here being like, oh, look at me. I did it. I'm summoned at the top of the mountain. It's just like, yeah, I got these digital things and I made the numbers go up and now I don't have to do that. And I could still play the game if I wanted to, but there's almost nothing left to do in the game that I haven't already done because I got all the trophies. But now, Sony has taken the trophies and given a little twist. PlayStation trophies will now unlock the ability to purchase real-life merchandise from some of its franchises. Kicking off with Ghost of Tsushima, players who have earned the Mono No Aware Gold or Living Legend Platinum trophies in Ghost of Tsushima by December 31st, 2025, can unlock access to a selection of limited edition merchandise. To be eligible for the program, players must earn the required trophies in the game and then head to the Ghost Reward store at ghostrewards.playstation.com in order to purchase the items. Ghost Rewards are available to ship to players in the United States, Canada, Australia, Europe, EU, Monaco, Norway, and Switzerland, and the United Kingdom. PlayStation says the availability outside of these regions may be introduced at a later time. Players who earn the Living Legend Platinum trophy with a connected PlayStation account in Ghost of Tsushima by December 31st, 2025, can purchase a commemorative pin featuring the same artwork featured in the Platinum trophy icon. The commemorative pin retails for $25. A t-shirt is available for players who have purchased the Mono No Aware Gold trophy in Ghost of Tsushima, and that will cost $30. One of each item may be purchased per account. According to PlayStation, Ghost of Yote themed rewards will be introduced later this year. I think it's one of the only ways to add a sense of meaning to trophies or achievements if Xbox were to do something like this. I don't know if they'd have. I'm not as familiar with Xbox achievements as I am trophies, but the point is, if you want to buy a t-shirt and you want that t-shirt to be tied to a thing you did in a video game, there's never been a better time to do that. Speaking of PlayStation, a 35-minute PlayStation State of Play has been confirmed, including gameplay footage of Housemarque's new game, Saros. That is happening today at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So we'll talk about it next week on the podcast, but that's happening. You can find that on YouTube. Check that out if that is your thing, or maybe you've already watched it by the time you've listened to this podcast. Yakuza 0 Director's Cut, Yakuza Kiwami, and Yakuza Kiwami 2 are coming to PS5 and Xbox Series S and X. The Yakuza 0 Director's Cut has been a Switch 2 exclusive since the console launch. Ryu Ga Gotoku Studio has confirmed that the 3 Yakuza games currently associated with the Switch 2 are also coming to other formats. Now, the other thing that they wanted to confirm is that Yakuza Kiwami 3 is currently in development and it's set to be released on February 12th of next year on PS5, Xbox Series S and X, Switch 2, PS4, and PC via Steam, which is a remaster of Yakuza 3. Kiwami 3 will be bundled in with Yakuza 3 Gaiden Dark Ties, which is a brand new spin-off adventure starring antagonist Yoshitaka Mine. I don't want to butcher the name, but I did. I'm sorry. Yakuza 0 Director's Cut is an enhanced version of Yakuza 0, which was released on Switch 2 as a launch title. The Director's Cut includes 26 minutes of new cutscenes as well as a new English dub. The original game only had a Japanese dub with English subtitles, and a new Red Light Raid Online 4-player mode with up to 60 playable characters. It has been confirmed that Yakuza 0 Director's Cut will also be coming to PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC via Steam on December 8th in both physical and digital editions. Yakuza Kiwami and Yakuza Kiwami 2 remakes of the first games were originally released in 2016 and 2017. Both remakes have been released on PS4 and Xbox One and can therefore be played on current-gen platforms via backwards compatibility. However, both games are also going to be coming to Switch 2 on November 13th. Ryoga Gotoku Studios has decided that the other formats shouldn't be left out, meaning that Yakuza Kiwami and Kiwami 2 will also be coming to PS5 and Xbox Series X and S a month later on December 8th. I don't know if they said anything about upgrades, though. But they are going to be adding English language to those games, is my understanding, to English language to those games, which is neat. I'm still a big believer in the Japanese voiceover with English subtitles, but hey, more Yakuza. Yakuza is hot as hell, and it's not slowing down anytime soon. Let's talk Pal World. Pal World, of course, being made by Pocket Pair, that company being sued by Nintendo because of how similar Pal World may or may not be to the Pokemon franchise, but they being Pocket Pair, are continuing to update Pal World, but they've also announced a new spin-off farming game called Pal World Pal Farm. Currently only confirmed for PC, Pal World Pal Farm lets the player gather the series' titular pals and put them to work on a farm. The game has yet to receive a release date, but its Steam page is active now, allowing players to wishlist it. Players will start with barren land and make use of the pals' special abilities to carry out tasks, with the aim being to turn the land into a thriving environment. Much like the main Pal World game, Pal World will still feature combat, with the players' pals taking on more aggressive pals that try to raid their farm or lurk underground. There's also a marketplace run by residents, as well as a shadier black market hidden on the island's far side where players can buy more questionable items such as guns and suspicious fertilizer. The game also supports multiplayer, meaning players can work together to build a farm together. I think it looks neat. I think I need to go back and play more Pal World, but I've also kind of been waiting for Pal World to get some more significant updates, kind of smooth a lot of things out that haven't been smoothed out in a while. But I think Pal World is neat, and I think a game that's more focused on farming could be very cool for those that are interested in more farming-specific games. Oh man, we got a lot of news. Good Lord. Oh my God. I'm going to be talking. I've already been talking for a while already. But let's get through this Death Stranding news first. New looks have been revealed for a Death Stranding animated and live action movie. Death Stranding Mosquito is the animated movie, and A24, the Death Stranding movie, will feature original stories. There is a trailer up now on YouTube if you want to take a look at it. Firstly, the Japanese studio revealed, the Japanese studio being Kojima Productions, Kojima Productions revealed the first look at Death Stranding Mosquito, which was the previously announced animation project from Aaron Guzikowski. I'm going to try to pronounce it like that. Who has served as a writer on both Raised by Wolves and Denis Villeneuve's Prisoners. Mosquito will be directed by Hiroshi Miyamoto and animated by ABC Animation Studio. Kojima Productions confirmed at an anniversary event on Tuesday. Early footage shown of Mosquito teased an original character in the world of Death Stranding. Now, at that same event in Tokyo, Kojima Productions invited director Michael Saranowski, who did A Quiet Place Day One, on stage to discuss his live-action movie, which is being produced by A24. According to the director, The Death Stranding movie will tell an original story featuring new characters and locations. Quote, with this project, we really want to capture the soul of the game, the themes of the game, but tell a story you haven't seen in that world and explore characters you haven't seen before. And find all of that scope and all of those incredible real locations, but also those nuanced characters and do justice to this on a micro and macro scale. Hideo Kojima commented, the game takes about 70 to 80 hours to complete, and we don't want to slim that down to a 2-hour movie, so using the world for a thoroughly different story is essential and important. Which I think makes sense. I am not a Death Stranding person. I have not played Death Stranding 1, I've not played Death Stranding 2, but if they want to go all in on Death Stranding in other media, I say more power to them. Kojima has revealed visuals for his PlayStation stealth game called Fizzant and announced 3 cast members for the game as well. The stars are Charlie Fraser, Don Lee, and Minami Hamabi, butchering names left and right. But those are the actors that have been cast for the game. The game also has a tagline called Here Comes the Feeling, which is kind of like restoring the feeling that Will Ospreay does, but I digress. Kojima said, for me, working with people I like helps me live longer because I can go to work and say, I want to meet them. Oh, I'm choking up. That's so funny. Clearly, Kojima has worked in offices for a vast majority of his life. He said, we need to experiment with technology. There's so much more to do, but before that, I need to make OD. OD, of course, being the horror game that he's working on. That is the next game in his production pipeline, which will be followed by Fizzant. Speaking of Fizzant, it has been described as bold, unique, and unquestionably Kojima. They have revealed a new look for the Xbox published horror game OD. They have also given a new name for OD, which will be called OD Knock. Speaking during a live stream event held in Tokyo, Hideo Kojima claimed that OD, which now has the subtitle Knock, is a completely new gaming experience running on Unreal Engine 5. He said, this is a special system. Even the infrastructure is totally new. Nobody has ever done this before. So I am repeating tests and experiments and can't speak anymore. There are a lot of hints in the video. Phil Spencer described the game as bold, unique, and unmistakably from this studio. He said, we're deeply supporting the production. It's our technical work with Unreal that we're doing with the team, both with the flashy stuff you see on the screen, as well as a lot of stuff behind the scenes. We have one goal in mind, which is to bring Kojima-san's vision to life for all players everywhere, and we can't wait for players to experience it when it's ready. You know, this game was originally announced in 2013, so they have been cooking this game for a while. I wonder if we get a 2026 release date or if it's going to be a 2027 game. We'll find out. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we got more news. Stick around. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the podcast. Let's continue to talk about news by talking about Call of Duty Black Ops 7. The multiplayer reveal has confirmed 18 maps at launch, as well as a little bit more. In a lengthy website post, the publisher has detailed Black Ops 7's modes, maps, weapons, perks, field upgrades, and the new overclock system, as well as hybrid combat specialties, wildcards, score streaks, prestige, progression systems, and more. There's a lot to get into. The new mode is called Overload. Excuse me. In Overload, squads clash over one device that must be carried into enemy territory to score. Momentum swings sharply as the device changes hands, making every pickup, player escort, and interception a pivotal moment in this all-new 6v6 mode. There is going to be an event called Call of Duty Next, which is going to happen Tuesday, September 30th. Following that, you can try Black Ops for yourself and earn special rewards when the beta begins on all platforms starting Thursday, October 2nd. So, if you want to play Call of Duty for yourself, you can. Black Ops 7 for yourself, you can do that because that open beta is kicking off Thursday, October 2nd. 16 of the maps are going to be 6v6. There will also be 20 versus 20 maps as well. There are a bunch of other announced modes: Team Deathmatch, Domination, Search and Destroy, Kill Confirm, Free for All, Hardpoint, Kill, Hardpoint, Gunfight, Kill Order, Control. There is also going to be some alternative modes called Face-Off Domination, in which score streaks will be disabled. Face-Off Team Deathmatch, in which score streaks will be disabled. Kill Order, Kill Confirmed, which will also be disabled. There's also going to be something called Skirmishes. Skirmishes are going to be the 20 versus 20 missions. There will be 2 maps of that. They'll be objective focused, dropping teams into expansive environments with enhanced means of traversal, including wingsuits, grappling hooks, and vehicles, all assisting you and your squad to get to the next objective with time to spare and dominate the other team. There will also be a training course where you can enter a new training course designed to get you up to speed on basic movement and advanced combat skills. Perfect for new and returning players, this course will teach you all you need to get the most out of your operator in the field, including the ability to practice wall jumps and perfect the new grenade-based finishing moves. There'll be a lot of maps. There's going to be a couple of maps in the beta. We'll run those over right now. Blackheart, Cortex, Exposure, Imprint, The Forge, and Toshin are going to be in the beta. There's also going to be some maps returning from Black Ops 2, such as Express, Hijacked, and Raid. It doesn't look like Skirmish is going to be in the beta mode, but we shall see. And then they run down like all the different maps and all this other stuff. Loadouts. One thing that's new to Black Ops is something called Overclock. Players can now customize their tactical and lethal equipment, field upgrades, and score streaks using the Overclock system. Effective use of these individual loadout items will unlock up to 2 overclock abilities over time, providing a variety of benefits like a lower score cost for score streaks, decreased charge time for field upgrades, and extra lethality for your equipment. Select the overclock ability that works best for your playstyle and reap the rewards for even greater power. Check out the exact overclocks for individual equipment items later in the blog if you want to complete the entire reading of this incredible. This thing is so long. I'm sure there's videos. There's almost certainly videos, but my oh my, this blog post is so long. Anyways, you can pre-order it now if you want. So let's look at beta details. September 30th is going to be Call of Duty Next, which will be a live stream broadcast starting at 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, where developers from Treyarch are going to be talking you through the full Black Ops 7 offering, plus representatives from across Call of Duty studios and community channels, and key announcements full of beta information and everything coming to Call of Duty Black Ops 7, multiplayer zombies, and Call of Duty Warzone. Beta details. Early access beta will run from October 2nd to October 5th. Open beta will be available from October 5th to October 8th. You might be wondering, how do I get access to beta? If you pre-ordered any digital edition, you do not need a beta code to get access to the early access version. If you pre-ordered a physical edition, you should have received a beta code at the point of sale, enabling entry into the early access period. If you don't pre-order Black Ops 7, you can still access the early, you can still access the open beta period. That's so much. That's so much Call of Duty Black Ops 7 information that I think my head is going to explode. But if you want more, there's more details coming when they do their live stream September 30th. Fortnite. Let's talk about Fortnite. Fortnite will soon let island creators sell in-game items and pay to appear in a sponsored row. Now, if you don't know what that is, islands are basically game modes created by members of the Fortnite community. So if you wanted to, if you were like, man, I really wish Fortnite had a cool fighting game mode, or I wish it had a racing mode or whatever, you could make that and then put it into the game. But before that, there weren't a lot of ways for people to make money. Now you can sell in-game items that can appear in various island modes and creations. And you can pay to appear in a new sponsored row that's going to be a more prominent display for your content. Developers will earn 100% of the income made from any in-island purchases until the end of 2026. So this is where the real money is. It will change to 50% in 2027. So what does that mean? This is the Robloxification of Fortnite. Roblox is very into the idea of you making in-game content and selling it, or selling various game modes and stuff like that in Roblox. The people who make Roblox, of course, take a cut. And this is Fortnite trying to play catch up to that. I have lost a lot of interest in playing Fortnite as of late. That doesn't mean I won't go back to it. But I know that when I do, I will probably be inundated with more things to spend money on, if that is my thing. Disco Elysium, when the developers of Disco Elysium kind of broke up, they spun out into a variety of different studios. One of those studios being called Dark Math Games. Dark Math Games were originally working on a game very similar to Disco Elysium. They have now changed a lot of stuff about that game. It is now going to be a third-person RPG called Tangerine Antarctic. Originally it was called XXX Night Shift, and it is moving away from the isometric perspective and instead will be a third-person RPG. They're making a new Silent Hill movie. I don't know why, but they are. Return to Silent Hill is going to be directed by Christoph Gans. He directed the 2006 Silent Hill movie. And Return to Silent Hill will be coming to theaters January 23rd, 2026. Now, I'm just going to say something about the January release date for movies. January is usually a dumping period for movies. Movies that were not good enough to come out in time for Christmas, the holidays and stuff like that usually get dumped in January. I don't know if that is why they're putting out this Return to Silent Hill movie in January, but I do not have a lot of high hopes, if you can blame me. That is it for news. That's it. I want to talk about some of the games that I've been playing. I wrapped up Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. I forget if we talked about that last week on the podcast. It doesn't matter. I wrapped up Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, and I think that has filled the Borderlands-sized hole in my heart that I wanted to have filled. So I don't know if I'm exactly excited about the idea of going and playing a Borderlands 4. Also, considering Borderlands 4 has had a pretty rotten reputation as of late of running pretty poorly across consoles and PC. So instead, I went back and I played Tiny Tina's Wonderlands and finished that. I think that game's okay. I think it's an underrated Borderlands game, all things considered. I think if you wanted to play Borderlands, I think 1 is probably still worth playing. I think 2 is okay. I think 3 is not great. I think Wonderlands is better than 3. And yeah, that's kind of where, and I haven't played 4, so I don't really have strong opinions on Borderlands 4, but I finished it. I finished Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. I think the game's okay. I have tried and I've 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 tried to get into Hollow Knight and its sequel Silksong. It does nothing for me. I don't appreciate that game structure. I don't care for its, the ways that it has, balances its difficulty. I don't really care about the bug people. I don't really love the art style. It just does nothing for me. So this is probably where I admit that Hollow Knight is just not for me. But if anything changes, I will let you know. I also tried to get back into Mario Kart World after finishing Donkey Kong Bonanza, because I was like, well, I guess now that I finished Donkey Kong Bonanza, I don't have a lot of Switch 2 games to play. But then I remembered that Mario Kart World came with the Switch 2. And I think the open world nature of Mario Kart World is just so boring and bland and empty. I know they've tried to add some stuff to the open world as of late, but I think the knockout tour mode is cool. I think the racing is fine. I think the overall gameplay is solid. I think it looks good, but like the main thing of that game was like, or one of the big things of that game, I should say, was the open world nature. And it just does not a lot for me. But fear not, I have found a game that I think is quite fun and a game that I am surprised that I slept on. The Rogue Prince of Persia. This is made by the people that took over the Dead Cells development. If you don't know Dead Cells, it was a 2D side-scrolling rogue light action adventure game. I think Dead Cells is really, really cool. I never finished it, but I thought it was rad. Originally developed by Motion Twin and then took over development by a studio that I believe is now called a studio that's called, I think, Evil Empire? Rogue Prince. I think Rogue Prince of Persia is on Steam. Yeah, Rogue Prince of Persia being developed by Evil Empire, put out by Ubisoft. It is a side-scrolling 2D action platforming adventure game with rogue-like elements. And I gotta be honest, I didn't love Lost Crown. I don't know, maybe I just don't love a lot of Metroidvania search action adventure games, but I did not love Prince of Persia. I eventually bounced off of it. The Lost Crown, I should say. I eventually bounced off the Lost Crown. So to my surprise, I am really digging the Rogue Prince of Persia. I think the gameplay is a ton of fun. I have really enjoyed the climbing, the running, the jumping, the platforming. It is difficult in the way those roguelikes are, where the whole point of that game is to get you to try multiple attempts to beat the game and make more progress every single time. And the story kind of, relates to the prince's, repeated attempts to save his people and all of that stuff. The story I haven't really paid too much attention to, but I think Rogue Prince of Persia is a ton of fun to play. I've really enjoyed the wall running, the climbing, the jumping. I think the only thing that I don't think feels amazing is the combat. I think the combat is maybe a little mushy for my taste. I don't think it's quite as crisp as especially the combat in the Lost Crown. I think the combat in Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown was great, and I think the combat in the Rogue Prince of Persia is okay. But I did just start playing the Rogue Prince of Persia last night, so I don't maybe have a ton to say right now about it. I'm still pretty early into my experience with that game so far, but Rogue Prince of Persia so far is pretty cool. I just need to play a lot more of it. So, whoops, audio noises. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I am looking forward to playing Hades. I should probably check out Baby Steps, and I'm going to keep playing the more of the Rogue Prince of Persia, and I'll have a lot more to say about some of the games that I've been playing right now. It's just right now, next week. It's just a scenario where I kind of wrapped up Donkey Kong and wrapped up Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, and I was like, where do we go from here? And I don't really know, but now I do. It's the Rogue Prince of Persia. It's maybe Hades 2. So hopefully I have more chance to play games next week. That's going to do it for the podcast. I have been GnittWitt. You can find everything that I do over at my Linktree, linktree.com/GnittWitt, GnittWitt. I am on Threads, TikTok, Blue Sky, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch. And this podcast is available wherever you get your podcasts. That's going to do it for Glitch Report. We'll see you next week. Take it easy.